Hi, I'm Amy from the Goal Setting Collective, and today I'm joined by Kelly from Signet Careers. So, do you want to tell everyone a little bit about you?
So, hello, I'm Kelly, and I have a business called Signet Careers, which helps people change jobs. So, if you're facing redundancy and you don't know where to start, I can help with CVs, interview coaching, and just working out where you want to go next as well. So, there's a lot of goal setting involved in that.
Oh,
So,
yes, brilliant. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about the goals that you've reached?
the goals that I've reached, I don't know. I think when I don't really set proper SMART goals,
Uh-huh.
which is a bit ironic given that I encourage all my clients to do it. But I kind of have a bit more of a kind of vague thing about where I want to be,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then sort of because I've decided that's what I want to do, that's where I end up
Yeah,
usually. I hope.
because focused on it and you know what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I don't think I'm very good at putting the little steps
yeah.
in my head, but we'll get there anyway.
Well, as
So
long as you get there, that's the thing that matters, isn't it?
yeah.
I suppose it's just
So
different for everybody.
so
Mm-hmm.
one of the goals that I've achieved, I suppose, is setting up my business
Uh-huh.
because that was something that I wanted to do for ages, but I think well, it's a big risk, so it
Mm-hmm.
was quite frightening to just take that
Yeah,
leap into the unknown.
it's a huge
Um,
one. Yeah.
18 months on,
Uh-huh.
still here, so
Uh-huh.
worked out.
Great. Okay. So, what did you do to make them happen? Obviously, you say you have like, vague goals, and you're not very good at setting the little steps. So, you must have had to do some little steps. Otherwise, it would
Yeah,
never have got there. So,
I think I don't know, I've never really set up a business before,
yeah.
surprisingly. So
No,
it
neither did
was all really new,
I.
and I think I had to learn a lot
hmm
to do it, and the circumstances had to be right. So,
Yeah.
you know, and everything just fell into place, and I went for it.
Yeah. So, what sort of stuff did you have to learn?
Um, ooh, I'm not sure. So just what have I learned? So there's like obviously I used social media before, but
mm.
using it for the business is a whole new ball game. Like Facebook pages,
Uh-huh.
learning
Oh
that, getting your
yeah.
reach up,
uh-huh.
carrying on, trying something new, trying something different when one thing's not working. Do you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
and all the scheduling and I suppose the marketing side of it and learning how to sell
Uh-huh.
because my background's in the voluntary sector,
Yeah.
so I'm used to selling what I do
hmm
because you have to get the clients coming through. But
Yeah.
I've never really had to ask for money before, so that
Yeah.
was a whole new thing for me.
And it feels horrible asking for money, doesn't
It
it?
does, and it still feels a little bit uncomfortable.
uh-huh.
But then I think, well, people are benefiting from what I offer,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and
hmm
me clients have fed back. Well, I got a job quicker because of your help,
Yeah.
so I'm helping people just the same. So I think it's worth the money, isn't it? And
Yeah.
if I didn't take the money, I wouldn't be able to offer the service.
Uh-huh.
So
And I
yeah,
think they're quite reasonable prices. Having had a look on nosy on the website, so yeah, I think it'll be worth it because you want a job. If it
yeah,
helps, then you shouldn't complain about it, should you?
no,
So brilliant. Okay, so you said that it was about like trying something new, and like to try and get to the next step, I suppose. So I guess there is quite a lot of trying something new when you set goals to try and get to the
yeah.
goal. You have
And
to
that
try
whole
different
business
things.
plan thing,
Mm.
it felt like it felt like I was plucking stuff out of the air when I was writing that, especially with the money,
Yeah,
because it's like, well, how do you know? You just don't know.
yeah.
What it's going to look like in like 2 years down the line. No idea.
No,
So it felt like I was
anything's
just
happening.
sort of putting my finger in the air and
hmm
hoping at the beginning. But did have a good, um, like different income streams that I'm aiming for.
Yeah.
So I think those mostly are still in place.
Okay.
So I keep going back and going, oh yeah, I was going to do that, wasn't I?
yeah,
So
I have a
yeah,
little
when I
showing the
remind
scribble.
myself of what I
Mm.
wrote in the beginning, it actually makes sense. So
Yeah,
yeah,
great.
so I
So
suppose that's setting goals, really, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Mhm.
so brilliant. Okay, so what have you got that you're currently working on in terms of goals? Like what do you want in the future, I suppose?
One of the things that I'd really like to do is work with people who can't afford to pay for the services that I offer.
Uh-huh.
So that involves getting funding to deliver to people who are out of work and, maybe has been out of work for a while. And
Mhm.
that's really my background, but it is quite difficult to get into. So
Mhm.
I think it's going to take a long time.
Yeah. But if you've been, because you did do that before, didn't you? Something like that.
Yeah, so I've
So
worked in the
you'll have
sector
quite a lot
before
of
and I've worked on all
experience
those
already.
contracts before.
Yeah.
Um, but as a new business,
Mhm.
it's me with the experience,
Yeah.
not me company. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a work in progress.
Yeah. So you need those tiny steps. So you need to sort of have them
Yeah.
going around in the
Mhm.
background and have your
And you
voice
just get
a
no
bit
all the
more.
time. No, no,
Yeah.
no. And I'm like, oh well, try
Yeah.
something else.
Yes. Try something new. That's your mantra. Brilliant. So your word for the year is focus, and I'm going to put the blog post that I found this on somewhere around this video, probably down here. So do you want to tell us a little bit about how that's going for you? Because it's August now, and obviously you set that in January.
Yeah, so I set the word of the year because I don't really like that. Right, I'm going to do this by next week because I
Uh-huh.
think, the dog can die or
Pressure.
you know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? The dog can eat your homework or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Stuff happens in life. And like, I always work like that with my clients. I might help them to set goals, but then they'll come back the next week and go, oh, I didn't do what you said. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, and I'll be like, well, it doesn't matter. That life happens. Why did you not do it? And what can we do? What steps do we need to take next time, kind of thing. So I struggle to make goals for myself because I haven't got a me to do it with. Do you know
Uh-huh.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so I found that a couple of years ago. I tried the word of the year. Um, and I quite liked it because instead of having goals, it just has one word where you can go back and look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually haven't looked at that word for a while. You reminded me of
Yeah.
it when I was preparing for the day. So, and I was thinking, is that worth doing? Was it worth doing? And I thought, yeah, actually, it's worked, even though I haven't really thought about it. Just the fact that I wrote it down on a blog post,
Mm-hmm.
it is actually working because I think at the end of last year, I got really excited being self-employed and being able to choose whatever I wanted to get involved with.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I found by the end of last year, I'd said yes to so many things. It was
Uh-huh.
making me. I was stretched. I was doing
Yeah.
too much. I was exhausted. I wasn't having any time off, and that's why I chose focus. And
Yeah.
from then, I've cut down loads of things that I used to do that I don't do anymore.
Yeah.
And now I think if an opportunity comes along, I'll think, well, will this help me achieve what I set out to do when I
Mm-hmm.
set my business? And if it's a yes, then I'll say yes to it. And if it's a no, then I just stay
Mm-hmm.
away from it.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, I've got much less going on, but I'm on the right track. And I think that's sort of borne out in me blogs and me social media and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like more focused. So
Yeah.
I think it
Oh,
is
that's good.
working, even though I haven't been looking at it very much or
Yeah.
thinking about it. It's still there in the background, kind of
Yeah.
guiding me, if you
I
like.
did word for the year this year too, and I can't remember what one of them was. I had two of them, and I don't know what the first one was, which was the most important word of the two. I should really remember what it was. Evidently, I haven't looked at this either. The other one was radiate, which was about like getting out there sort of thing. Because I used to do that more before I had my son, and I feel like I fell off a bit. But I suppose, yeah, life has definitely got in the way a bit. And obviously, I've completely forgotten what one of my words is. It'll come back to me later. I'll be driving back to home after this. And I'll go, yes. Um, yeah, but I think the times that I have thought about it, it has been quite helpful just knowing that, like, especially, obviously, I can't remember the word, but thinking of radiate, I have thought, yes, I need to do this. But there's still so much I haven't done because of life. But yeah, it was a really interesting exercise. I enjoyed working out what my word was going to be. I remember thinking it wasn't as hard picking out a word for the year as I thought it would be. So
Yeah,
I didn't
it's
expect
more
to
like
find
a
it
gut
so.
feeling, isn't it? Well, it was
Yeah,
for me.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's really interesting. So great. So, my next question was, what goals have you set yourself?
Um, Really it's more around trying to get more into the nitty gritty, the little steps of
Uh-huh.
what to do. So
Yeah,
each day I'm thinking, right, what do I want to achieve today? Or this week? Because I realise that it might not happen exactly how I
yeah,
plan because inevitably I'll get an email which I think, oh well, that's more important. I need to work on that today. But what would I like to do this week, and what sort of, when I get time in between appointments and things, what am I going to work on?
Yeah.
So I've got a few blog posts that I've got ideas for, and because I tend to get I don't like to go, right, I'm going to write a blog post a month, because I tend to have like flashes of inspiration, and then none for ages. So I'll write a blog post when I feel like I can write something.
Yeah, quality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
tend to write. I tend to have them in batches, which is handy because it means then I have them stacked up, which is really useful. I don't do it on purpose, though. I think batching is a great idea. I never plan it in like that. I just have an idea and then I have another one, and before you know it, I've got like 3, and it's brilliant. But yeah, it's one of those things you have to be in the mood for sometimes, don't you?
And something else as well that I've realised about myself and setting goals, like since I set my business up, I've said, oh well, I don't really know if I want to take on staff. I think it's like when I set my business up, it's just, yeah, I want to provide myself with an income. That was my main goal.
Yeah.
And I had a bit of a revelation a couple of weeks ago where I was asked to write some goals down, and one of them was, yeah, actually, if you no, it was, the question was something like, miracle question, like if you had loads of money, what would you do tomorrow? And one of them was have a team around me, and I was thinking, yeah, that would be good, actually having staff. Whereas before I've been like, no, I'm not sure if I want staff.
Yeah.
And it still feels like quite a long way away from where I am now to have staff. But actually to have a team and work in a team where we all get on and make each other cups of tea and stuff, that would be really nice, I think, eventually, one day. But I'm not going to put a date on it because...
Well, why? Yeah,
because it's, and 5 years feels like too long to think about.
Yeah, it does seem quite like a large gap, doesn't it, to have that 5-year plan. It just...
So I've got a bit of a vision, if you like, but I haven't really got a time scale.
Yeah. Well, I think that's good because, like you were saying, life gets in the way, and having a time scale can be stressful.
Yeah, but then I'm wondering if I actually did put if I did put a time limit on it, maybe I would be more motivated to do it, but I don't think I would. I think I would just feel overwhelmed and pressured.
Well, some people would be and some people wouldn't, so I guess it's about recognising what works for you and making sure that's the approach that you take, I suppose. So, yeah, it's quite interesting because when I set up, I decided that I did want to have a team and I have loads of people, and well, not necessarily loads, but at least 5 of us all together or something, because that was what I came from, I guess. And as time's gone on, I've decided that actually I don't. I'm quite happy just being me.
So as you actually live your business, you decide what you do and don't want, don't you? So I think if I'd set out with a really rigid plan at the beginning, it would have felt like stifling, and that's what I wanted to get away from when I set up my business.
Yes, you want to feel free.
Yeah.
Like a swan. Brilliant. Okay, so my next question was, what do you intend to do to get there? But I think we've kind of talked about that. So
I think so.
So you wrote a blog post, which I read last night, but I also have read it in the past, but it reminded me for this today about when it's not a good idea to set goals. So would you like to talk a bit about when it's not a good idea to set goals?
Yeah, so I think that's how I wrote that at the new year because I just felt like I was bombarded with people's New Year's resolutions and, you have to set goals for the year and do this and do that, and it just felt overwhelming, and I was actually in a place where I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Everything felt like it was up in the air. I was confused, and so that's where the inspiration came from. Don't set goals when you're confused. Because if you're confused, it doesn't feel like a very nice place to be, but actually it's quite a fertile place to be because once you start to kind of just be with that and be all right with being confused, you realise, well, actually a state of confusion means that you're about to have a breakthrough, you're about to come into something, you're not quite there yet, you haven't got all the information you need to be able to move forward.
Yeah.
But something's going to change.
Yeah. And
once it all falls into place, then that's the time to set goals, but not when you're confused and you're like, when things are, when you haven't got all the information, things haven't played out quite to the end yet.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to set a goal if you don't know what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was kind of where it came from.
Great. Because yeah, at the beginning of the year it is just all of that, isn't it? It
Yeah, like it's
isn't always
traditionally
what you
the
need.
time when people think about goals, but for
Uh-huh.
me, it's like it's not the right time.
Hmm.
It's the right time when it's the right time, and
Yeah.
that might not be January.
Absolutely. Yes, which is why I have a monthly thing, because I think you don't want to be worrying about it at January all the time. You've got to think about it all the time and just like pick your moment, I guess.
Yeah,
So yeah, brilliant. Okay, so how do you cope if you set a goal and things don't quite go according to plan?
I tend to like if that's why I'm quite fluid with my goals because I
Hmm.
know things aren't going to go
Yeah.
smoothly. So I think I like to have a bit of a goal, but that can be fluid, which is
Hmm.
what we've kind of talked about
Yeah.
already. And if it doesn't work out, I'm just like, oh well, plan
Yeah.
B.
It's a much less stressful way of looking at it, isn't it? Because you can sit there and write it all down and have it all planned out step by step and take ages planning and not actually doing anything. And it just doesn't happen and you just feel so stressed and just to sort of say this is what I want and it might happen and hopefully it will and I'm going to work in that direction but you can
Yeah,
break up my hands I'm sure I'm
but
sure they're very smooth.
the how is part of the
Yeah,
learning process, isn't it?
yeah.
So I think I just naturally problem solve as I'm going along all the time.
Yeah.
I look for the solution,
Hmm.
um, and I'm quite optimistic most of the
Yeah.
time. Although I do have times where I'm just like, oh, I don't feel like being happy today.
And how do you get
So,
optimistic again?
it's a tough one. I think it's something I'm still learning how to do.
Yeah.
I think it's achieving something makes me feel better.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
sorry.
that's all right.
So so I try and have something that I'm working on all the time, but then if it doesn't happen, then that's when I feel down.
Yeah,
So
I can relate
I
to that.
think when
Yeah.
I stop, when I'm not busy enough as well,
Uh-huh.
like if I have too much time off, then I go, I want something to do. I can't just
Uh-huh.
sit around. I need to be
Yeah,
doing stuff.
I'm not very good at twiddling my fingers. Yeah, great. So, what are your top tips for goal setting?
I think it's easier if you've got someone to set them with,
Yeah.
someone who's interested and can help you. Because I think it's really hard to it depends on the type of person you are again.
Hmm.
But for me, I need to bounce my ideas out
Yeah.
because a lot of the I've found that some of my ideas are just like totally off the wall.
Uh-huh.
And when I say them out loud, I just think, nah, that'll never work. But in my head, it works perfectly. So I think I need someone there just to say it out loud to in case it's absolutely ridiculous.
So, who do you bounce your ideas off then?
Usually my husband.
Is he good at being bounced at?
Most of the time, but I
Uh-huh.
think he's getting a bit tired of hearing about the business now, so
Yeah. Oh no.
he's just like, okay, not this again. Can
Uh-huh.
we talk about something else
The
now?
thing is, though,
I
it's
think
like
it's
it's
a
what
bit
you
of an
live and
obsession,
breathe,
isn't
isn't
it?
it? You can't sort of shut down because if
No,
it's what you love to do, you just get excited about it, don't you?
yeah,
So yeah,
but it's a bit of an obsession, so I have to like stop myself and think, he's a person and he's had a hard day at work as well. He
yeah,
needs to talk to me sometimes. I need to shut up.
yeah. I have the same problem. I bet a lot of people have the same problem. So yeah, it's really hard. Yeah. So okay, so my next question was: do you have a plan or do you just wing it? And I think you have a vague plan that you sort of wing, right?
Yeah, I
And that
think it's a
works.
bit of both.
Yeah, brilliant. And then who or what helps you reach your goals is my next question. So obviously you bounce things off your husband. Is there anyone else who helps you out?
Um, My in-laws are pretty good.
Yeah, good.
Um, Depends what mood they're in though. And um, yeah, um, my son, he's nearly 21, so I talk to him sometimes, but like sometimes he just doesn't have a clue and he just looks at me and goes, "But Mum, I don't know about the world yet." He's a very deep thinker though, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. You can still have loads of great ideas,
Yeah.
whatever. So fantastic. Okay. And then is there anything that you do daily that helps, like talking to yourself or what's the thing I'm thinking of? Mindfulness or reading books or setting bullet points in a planner or anything like that?
I think you can plan too much.
Yes,
You know,
I
I
do.
think you can
Yeah,
spend so much time planning that you don't actually get on with it.
yeah,
So I've got a bit of a to-do list. So if I've got too much to do, I'll write it all down, and that
hmm,
helps us feel better because then I can
yes,
start ticking
writing
it
it.
off. When it's on the piece of paper and I start ticking it off, I realise it's not quite as big as I thought it was,
Hmm.
and actually, it's not that hard to get through it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I
but
love
other
doing
than
this.
that, not really to-do
Yeah,
lists. So I remember because my memory's terrible, so
uh-huh.
I do need that, and it does help us to stay focused as well. So if I think, right, I've run out of stuff to do, I look back at my to-do list and go, oh yeah, I was going to write that blog, or I was going to do this, I was going to contact that person,
Yeah.
and get in touch with them.
So how often do you write a to-do list?
It's a bit like me planning, it's a bit ad
Hmm.
hoc.
Yeah, sort of when you
And
need
then
to
like I
kind of thing.
probably won't
Hmm.
finish my to-do list and then I'll write another one.
Yeah, I do that. I write a list of all the things I need to do at the beginning of the week, and then when I get to the beginning of the next week, I look back at the list and write all the things I didn't do, and then add to it. So I suppose I do
And
it
then
every week.
then I
It
find that some
changes.
of the things that are on the to-do list
Weren't that important?
actually, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I just don't bother doing them.
yeah. So you must be quite good at
It's,
prioritising then.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's quite important. So
Hmm.
brilliant. Well, I think that's pretty much it. But that's really great because I think I really like what you're saying about you can have too much planning, and I think you can plan and plan, and that's
Uh-huh.
fine if it works and it actually makes you do something. But if
Yeah.
if you're just writing stuff down all the time and not actually taking action on it, then it doesn't matter at all, does it?
Hmm.
So that's brilliant. I,
Started filming some videos to practice and like I just completely lost my confidence, so I stopped. So it's really good to do it like this
mhm.
because you're recording it,
Yeah.
it's out of my hands. I can't go, oh, I hate it, I'm gonna not share it.
But the thing is, you will hate it. Even if you do it yourself, you'll hate it and hate it. And then you just have to keep doing it. Because I found
Yeah.
this. The first time I did a video, I was in the conservatory downstairs and there was nobody else in the house. And I threw up because I was so nervous. It was just me and a camera. It was ridiculous.
I
And then,
know.
but I used to do them weekly, which is something I will be getting back into. Um, and just as I've gone on, it's got to the point where even if it's not perfect, it'll just do in one take
Yeah,
because
that's what I
I have
want to
all the
be
time in the
like.
world, and you get there, if you keep doing it, and you just have to say, well, I just have to do it. I have got other things to do, and no one else is going to notice that bit isn't completely perfect, or that I've slurred those words together and made a new word up. So yeah, you just have to be brave. But yeah, it gets easier. It really does, a lot easier. So yeah, the key is though to try not to need to split it up because trying to do stuff in iMovie is, it's fine if you know how to do it, and I can do it if I think really hard and Google a bit. But it's a lot easier if you just do it in one take, and then you can just cut the beginning and the end off, and then
Yeah.
it's done. So yeah, you get used to it,
Hmm.
like anything, I suppose. But yeah,
So yeah, I suppose there's me goal then.
yes, they go to make videos. Well, maybe we'll hold you to that. But yeah, it's easy. I've got a blog post somewhere on making videos. I'll send you the link.
Okay, thank
So
you.
so
Yeah.
I'll put it in there as part of this because it'll help other people as well. But yeah, it does. It definitely gets easier,
Hmm.
even when things aren't perfect, like me rushing around today. Okay, bye bye. Bye, thank
Bye.
you.